What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Next Global News, and today we are going to talk about the stocks that I am watching during this economic, downfall, if you want to call it that. So, if you're excited about this video, crush up the likes, and let's talk about these stocks and what we saw on Wall Street today. Before we get started, I want to tell everyone I am not a professional financial advisor, and this is not professional financial advice. But this is just my opinion on what I am observing in the stock market and what I'm watching and why I'm watching these stocks. So one of the things that Warren Buffett has always said, those who buy when there's blood on the streets, those are the people who end up successful. But what the most common investor does is they hear that the market is going way up and it's at all-time highs. So what do? They jump in and buy really high and they get all excited because they want to be like everyone else and buy the top. And then the next thing you know, they're like, whoa, it's going down. Yeah, because what goes up must come down. And now it's coming down. The stock market is currently at 2017 levels, but now we have more money in circulation because they just did a $1.5 trillion stimulus, and there's a couple more stimuluses supposedly coming. So let's talk about the stocks that I'm interested in and keeping an eye on. Number one stock that I'm watching right now, and I don't know when I'm going to enter, but I would say it's probably it's probably a good time to enter, but who knows, is Boeing. So Boeing is currently sitting at $97. It was at, what was it at? As of a year ago, it was around about $400. Over the 5-year, the highest it's ever been was $440. That was in March. That was this time last year. It was at $440. So it's off that high by 4 times. If it ever revisited that high, that would be amazing. But here's another thing. It's possible that Boeing's really struggling right now, obviously, but it's possible that it could get bailed out by the government for 2 reasons. There's only 2 companies in the entire world who produce commercial aircraft, Airbus and Boeing. Would the United States be willing to let their major cash cow industry, commercial aircraft production, really just go to the Europeans at Airbus? I think they got to keep Boeing around, and I think Boeing's got a bright future. But right now, with travel being shut down like it has been temporarily, I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing. Boeing is sitting at under $100. I think that's a really good buy. Some of you are going to agree. Some of you are going to say, I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I guess we'll see. Another one that I'm watching is Uber. So Uber was down to $14. I obviously like Uber at $14 a lot more than I like it at $20, which it did today. But Uber is really suffering because no one wants to get into a car with a contaminated driver, and Uber drivers don't want to drive a bunch of passengers around. So Uber is really taking a hit on that. Another stock that I'm taking a look at is Carnival Cruises. Now, the thing with some of these cruise lines like Norwegian and Carnival and Royal Caribbean, you have to be careful because they're not, I don't know if they're American companies, but you have to keep an eye on that. So just be aware of that. Another stock that I am interested in, or that I'm definitely tracking, that's a little bit more of a long shot, that some of you might find interesting, is Virgin Galactic. So they're one of the first companies that's doing space travel. And because they're one of the first publicly traded space travel companies, I think that's an up-and-coming industry, kind of like what we saw with Tesla. When Tesla moves, Tesla is one of the most exciting stocks to own. In fact, Tesla really popped today. Tesla got a big gain after a major sell-off. We watched Tesla in... if you guys were following Tesla back in February, Tesla hit at $917. And you know what? People were jumping into Tesla at $917 thinking it was going to the moon. I was like, no way. Heck no. The only time I was ever buying Tesla when I was jumping into it was when it went below 400. That was my golden rule with that was my personal golden rule with Tesla. Anytime it went below 400, it was my entry point. Right now it's at 427. So Tesla's not very profitable though, so keep that in mind when you're looking at sheets. 280 Zone says Tesla would probably be a better short-term investment. Yeah, I mean Tesla. There's going to be more electric car and automated car technologies coming out. But then again, Elon Musk is really creative. But he one thing about Elon is he sticks around and then he bails, right? He goes on to the next thing. He was a part of X.com, which ended up becoming PayPal, and he sticks around, Solar City, and then they merge with Tesla or something like that. And then, he's probably going to go on to bigger and brighter things like full blown space travel. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up on Mars, and he's like, someone else has got to take over Tesla. So we'll see what's up with Tesla. But Elon Musk is a power player. You know, you got a few power players out there: Gates, Elon Musk, even Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's a power player, but just because people don't like some of these names, so they might scoff them off. But when it comes to power players, I'm talking about people who have that execution and follow through. And probably the one that has the most execution and follow through beyond Elon Musk right now is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is like this guy is like a super genius or something. I don't know, but everything that he's super focused is what it is. He's so focused, but he's got another space travel company called I think it's called Blue Origin, but they're not publicly traded. That leads me to my next stock that I always keep an eye on, Amazon. I thought Amazon was going to be struggling a little bit because of the fact that a lot of their stuff comes from China. But again, never doubt Jeff Bezos. So apparently you can't doubt Bezos because he's always got his finger on the pulse and willing to do what it takes. Another one that I like is Apple. I mean, for me, I've got entry points for all these. Like, for example, Apple, if it goes below $200, I like it. If it doesn't, I don't need it, okay? Boeing, my entry price for Boeing personally was below $100. And that was pretty low. That was like a super low entry for Boeing, and it reached it. That's the only of all my stocks that I was looking at, the only one that reached my entry point was Boeing. Some other stocks that are interesting to keep an eye on: Ford, down to 447. I thought Ford is pretty well sold off right now, and it's one of those companies I don't see it going anywhere. But then again, I guess you could double your money on Ford because it's a strong stock. Typically, it was in December. It was around about $9. It was around $10 around about this time last year, April last year. But I think Ford's a really safe play if you're one of those more conservative people. It's hard to step into a position like Amazon and Tesla because it's so expensive. It's even hard to step into something like Apple. Microsoft is another one, but then again, Bill Gates just stepped down. I don't know if the brightest days for Microsoft are ahead of it. And then you have Google. Google has two stocks. It has Alphabet, Class A, and then it has GOOG, right? So there's GOOG and GOOGL. But Google, I think, I think it's a good entry price on Google. I mean, we've seen Google at as high as what was it, 1,500. So looking at Google around 1,500 right now, sitting at 11.15. It's a pretty good, but it's a hard stock to step into because it's $1,115 per share. And a lot of people, when they buy stock, they don't like to just get one stock. They're like, some people will come into the market with like $1,000 to $2,000, and they're like, well, if I buy a full Google, I can only get like 1.5 Google, so people don't typically like it. What's up, Dante? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoy these finance videos because I really enjoy tracking the market, especially when the market's going down. Now, bear in mind, I mean, we just had California. I think California just went to an advisory where they're saying, do not leave your house. Today, Arizona finally called up the National Guard and said they're closing bars and restaurants, all but drive-thrus, which some of these other states had done ahead. But it seems like everyone's kind of following what California is doing. So being that that's happened, I would anticipate, even though we had a dead cat, I would anticipate today to be a dead cat bounce. So today was a little bit of a recovery, but then we'll take 3 steps back. So it's like the stock market's doing 1 step forward, 3 steps back. So we're bearish, and we're getting close. Well, we're getting closer to being a bear market as this continues to sell off and do what it's doing. So there's some other shares you can take a look at. I added a couple. If you guys want to take a look at these, let me see if I can get you the tickers on them. These are more like a grab bag. You've got VFIAX, and you've got so they're Vanguard 500 index. So these are like index funds. If you guys are into that, if you guys want a whole grab bag of stuff, but VFIAX, you might want to check that one out, and VBTLX, and then you can check out what's inside of that index fund and see if you guys like those. So I just want to make a quick video about this, and hopefully, we'll see where these stocks go. The prices are pretty low, but we could go a lot lower. And if they go a lot lower, then we have more buying power. I would say add these to your radar. keep an eye on them and let's see where we're at in a week or two. That's what I'm personally doing. But I'm going to probably step into some Boeing myself. That's the one that's, but I think Boeing's still got a little bit lower to go, unfortunately for them, but fortunate for us, right? So we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes, and keep on watching these videos. We'll keep on trying to get some good information and sharing it with you guys. See y'all.